Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Gwiasda. Today we'll check in with our Public Works Department on the annual hydrant flushing program. My guest today is Dale Weber, Operations Supervisor for the City of Ames Public Works Department. Dale, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So this is getting into kind of a busy time for you, although typically it's been a little busier this time of year. For spring, we are typically involved in hydrant flushing right now.
Yes, we are. We've actually delayed it a little bit this year due to the weather as cold as it's been, and so we're looking at starting on Wednesday, April 2nd for our flushing program, and hope to take about 2 weeks, and hopefully things go smoothly and we move along pretty quickly and get things done.
So this has been a really unusual winter. The cold temperature has really caused a lot of, ground shifting. You've experienced a lot of water main breaks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, as dry as it's been starting off the last couple of years, and with kind of the drought that we've been in, and then early in kind of December we didn't get much snow cover, and so the frost went down deeper and some more ground movement, and so yeah, since the 1st of January we've had 30 water main breaks, and that's usually what our yearly average is. We're about 3 times what our normal water main breaks are for this time of year.
Now, as the ground starts to thaw, are you anticipating more water main breaks?
Yes, I am afraid so. What we think, as we get a little bit more moisture, get some rain, and the frost is going out of the ground, it will shift some more, and so we expect to see some breaks here yet this spring as time goes on.
Now, are those typically reported by people who see them, or what does a water main break look like?
So the bigger ones are I guess more noticeable, where there's water boiling up out of the street or out of the parking, and it could be anything from like a garden hose stream if it's something close to a water service, or a smaller leak, to something that's gushing that's flooding the street. Usually the bigger ones, we get numerous reports on. The Ames Police Department, Cyrite are big. As they're out doing their routes, they notice those quite a bit, and so we usually get some pretty quick response. Also the water plant, sometimes we notice the big ones where the pressure's dropped or we're getting rusty water phone calls. But a lot of we still get a lot of reports from the residents that, hey, this has been wet for a while, and it hasn't rained, hasn't snowed, so it's kind of unexpected. It's like, what's going on? So
maybe it's just sort of a slow leak and it just soaks the area. Is that what you?
Yes. We have seen. And some of these are water service leaks, which are the homeowner's responsibility. But we'll, if they call or email us, we can come out and kind of help them investigate it and determine if it's the water main or if it's a service, and go from there. So
if you're just sort of walking by and you see something unusual, what number would you call?
Probably the best number is the 239-5550, and that'll reach our principal clerk out of the warehouse in the Public Works Department. And then depending upon how severe it is, how soon we can respond to it, and where we have people in the area.
So if you are living near a water main break, do you notice it in your home?
Yes, depending upon if it affects you or not, as far as where the valves are located and what we shut down. Could notice anything from low pressure to rusty water to no water. Typically we try and go door to door and let people know that we have a water main break in the area, not to use water, and also to expect rusty water. And then when we get the water main repaired, we typically do some fire hydrant flushing with that, and so it can stir up the water a little bit to get anything from some air to rusty water. And so we tell people to run their cold water faucet first and make sure the water's clear before they do any laundry or use any hot water, and kind of go from there.
So people get very nervous about rusty water. What happens if you drink the rusty water?
There's nothing wrong with drinking the rusty water. It's hard on clothes or just more the plumbing fixtures than anything else.
So there's no harmful effects to drinking water with rust in it?
No, there isn't.
And I think that's something that people really get a little worked up about, not even realizing that there are naturally occurring mineral deposits in your water, and those do get unsettled sometimes.
Yes, there's usually about three things that will move those mineral buildups in the pipes, and from a fire demand or a water main break, or like what we're doing with the fire hydrant flushing program, where we're trying to increase the velocity or the flow in that pipe, and to kind of scour or remove some of that mineral buildup, so that we do keep having the good quality Ames water that people expect.
So hydrant flushing has been postponed a little bit due to the harsh winter that we've had. What does hydrant flushing do?
It does a couple things, especially with the slick roads that we've had lately. We were out there checking the fire hydrants, making sure that it operates properly or that it hasn't been damaged. We're moving the water. Basically, we usually start from the water treatment plant and work our way out towards the water towers. And so then it's also bringing fresh water in from that point. And then, like I say, we have some areas of town that have some older water mains that are close to 100 years old, and those tend to be the ones that have the rustier, more the mineral buildup. And so we're trying to clean and remove some of that material, and also to see if we would happen to have sometimes there's some fire hydrants, maybe it's not a valve before the hydrant that's not open all the way, or even a water main line valve that's not open all the way. And so by testing these hydrants, we're able to determine if there's problems out there that have happened.
Sure, so safety, so you can determine if a hydrant that maybe had been covered in some snow had gotten some damage. So you open the hydrants up and you just let the water out?
Yep. We flush it. We usually average about 5 minutes for each fire hydrant. We've got some that are in areas that the flow is maybe not as well or as much as we'd like, but typically the smaller mains, the older mains, is where we see that. But we usually average about 1,500 gallons a minute for a fire hydrant. So, in 5 minutes, it goes through a fair amount of water.
And we've had people ask in the past, is there any way to kind of reclaim that water? And there really doesn't seem to be a really cost-effective way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, typically, like I say, for the average hydrant, in about 5 minutes, so you're looking at about 6,000 gallons. So that's kind of equivalent to a semi-tanker truck. So having the tanks to put the water into and be able to, the personnel, it just isn't feasible. And like I say, sometimes we'll have people come out and, hey, can I use, grab some of this water? And, they sure can. I mean, if they have a bucket or whatever, however, they can sure make use of it. Otherwise, some areas it's actually going out on the lawn, but a lot of places it's running down the curb line or down the street.
So you're checking again for safety, and you're checking every single hydrant in the city?
Yes, almost. We have just under 2,700 fire hydrants. And so in the couple weeks time frame as we're flushing hydrants, we'll go through between 10 and 12 million gallons of water.
And something new and kind of neat that you guys have started recently was through GPS tracking, you can actually see which fire hydrants have been flushed and which haven't.
Yes, we started a couple years ago kind of doing a web-based map, and go to the city's website, and there will be a link on there where they can go to see fire hydrant flushing. And I believe we start off with the hydrants being red, and then as the hydrant gets flushed, it turns to green. And then that way people can kind of see where we're at in relationship to their house. They could be, even though we may be a block or two away, they could be experiencing rusty water even before we get there. But it seems to have helped out a lot. We used to get a lot of phone calls asking, when are we going to be in their neighborhood? And this way they can kind of look and see. We are flushing Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that way people kind of get off to work or off to school, and usually by the time they get home, then we're done and things have kind of settled down, so they're not experiencing a lot of rusty water.
And there's a set schedule where you're in different parts of town, but also you've made a lot of use of signage so people know that when the water flushing will happen. It seems like people really get a sense of what the schedule is.
Yeah, we have some mobile message boards that we try and take in the area that say fire hydrant flushing in the area. We kind of move those as we go. It used to be it took a lot longer for us to go through and flush fire hydrants, and we've been able to use more people. We'll have 6 people that'll be out flushing hydrants, and so it seemed to have worked pretty well. That, like I say, we're looking at being done in about 2 weeks after we start. So.
And this used to be a process that took several weeks.
Yes, and it used. Yeah, I mean, not only did it take several weeks, but we also didn't flush all the fire hydrants every year, and so it seemed like about 5 or 6 years ago we started flushing every hydrant, and we'd had a few more problems initially with some hydrant problems, but yeah, even our repairs on the fire hydrants and problems that we found have got decreased quite a bit. So that has helped.
Well, it's always a good sign of spring when you see those hydrant flushing crews out. That first week in April, I guess we'll look for the signage, look on the website to see the real-time hydrant flushing map, and we'll just look for you and your crews.
That'd be great.
Well, thanks for coming on, Dale.
Thanks, Susan.
Well, in addition to hydrant flushing starting in early April, remember that Yard Waste Free Day is coming up. Saturday, April 19th is the annual Spring Free Day, and you can get more information on our website. Also, mark your calendars now for the annual Water Plant Open House. That'll be Saturday, April 26th. So lots to keep you busy in the spring. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.